Hello guys, my dear students, I have so missed you. How are you guys? Today we are going to pass an online lesson. So take your books please and open the page 116. We are going to pass a new chapter. It is the 10th chapter. So today's topic is cell division types. Let's go. So first thing what I want to ask you. Imagine that you have gotten your finger, okay? After some time, this wound will be healed. What happens during this healing process? Have you ever thought about this? So we are going past actually about this topic. Cell cycle. The objectives are to identify the major events that characterize each of the 5 phases of cell cycle. I want to explain you that there are 2 types of cell cycle. So cell divides by the way of mitosis and meiosis. So I will explain you and describe how the cell cycle is controlled in eukaryotic cells. If you remember, eukaryotic cells means when they have a true nucleus. You can see from this picture how the cell is divided into some phases, the stages. So the cell cycle is the repeating sequence of cellular growth and division during the life of an organism, not only human, of course. And a cell spends 90% of its time in the first 3 phases of the cycle, and this is called interphase. You see this one, guys? The blue arrow. So totally G1, S, and G2, these phases are preparing for the cell division. Imagine that this circle is an animal cell. Of course, this is the eukaryotic cell because they have nucleus. So what happens on each of these phases? First, we said that all of these 3, 1, 2, 3, this blue side, they are totally or called interphase, and G1 happens, the cell grows during the S. S means synthesizing. So DNA, it is a genetical information stored in this DNA. This is the material, double helix material, which carries the information about the parent organism, which passes then to the babies, or let me say the generation. Then during the G2, growth and preparation for mitosis. This is actually the part of the cell division, which we say is mitosis and meiosis. They have some differences, of course. We'll pass about it. So during this interphase, our cell starts to prepare themselves for cellular division. And by their body, the cell membrane starts divide and appear in new daughter cells during the mitosis and cytokinesis. Mitosis, you see, other 10% takes the mitosis and cytokinesis. Mitosis, they have 5 phases. We'll pass about it. But cytokinesis, it means when their cytoplasm, the liquid part, the jelly part, is also dividing into 2 different cells. Mitosis, this is a process during cell division in which the nucleus of the cell is divided into 2 nuclei. This is called mitosis. So finally there will be just 2 cells. Don't forget. And cytokinesis is the process when cell divides by its cytoplasm. If you remember, cytoplasm, it is the jelly structure, jelly-like structure of the cell. Here you see how cell starts to make its journey to the division. So during the interphase, it is growing and synthesizing. Then it is, you see, how the nuclear envelope is disappearing. And inside the DNA, they have copied itself. Then it is starting to divide by its number. So the cell cycle has a key checkpoints which have feedback signals from the cell can trigger the next phase of the cell cycle. And control part in three principal checkpoints: cell growth checkpoint, DNA synthesizing, and mitosis checkpoint. From this picture, we are going to roll over from each phase. For example, G1 checkpoint, the cell grows. Okay, we are continuing. Interphase, second stage is S, DNA synthesis. Then G2, growth and preparation for mitosis. And mitosis, the nucleus of the cell is divided into two nuclei, not three, not four, not one, just two identical cells. One appears into two. That's all. So each nucleus ends up with the same number and kinds of chromosomes are original cell. They are identical, guys. Then cytogenesis. We said that it is division of cytoplasm. Let's watch and compare the mitosis and meiosis. What kind of phases are occurred in?
In prophase 1, the DNA coils tightly and individual chromosomes become visible under the light microscope. Homologous chromosomes become closely associated in synapses and they exchange segments by crossing over. By metaphase 1, the nuclear membrane has disappeared and the microtubules form a spindle. Spindle fibers attach to only one side of each centromere and the two homologous chromosomes attach to microtubules orienting from opposite poles. Each pair of homologs then lines up on the metaphase plate. Either maternal or paternal homolog may orient toward a given pole. In anaphase 1, the microtubules of the spindle fiber shorten and pull the chromosomes toward the poles, taking both sister chromatids with them. Each pole ends up with a complete haploid set of chromosomes consisting of one member of the homologous pair. During telophase 1, the nuclear membrane reforms around the daughter nuclei. Each daughter nucleus contains two sister chromatids for each chromosome attached to a common centromere. Because of crossing over, the two sister chromatids are not identical. During prophase 2, the nuclear envelope breaks down and a new spindle forms. In metaphase 2, spindle fibers bind to both sides of the centromeres. During anaphase 2, the spindle fibers contract and the sister chromatids move toward opposite poles. In telophase 2, nuclear envelopes reform around the sets of daughter chromosomes.
Let's summarize. There are two types of cell division: mitosis and meiosis. Mitosis is the process when one diploid cell, 2N, we symbolize it, divides and forms two identical diploid cells, 2N, and newly formed cells are known as daughter cells, and mitosis occurs in all body. For example, if you have gotten your finger, this wound will be healed by the way of the mitosis, because one cell has divided into two identical cell, guys. Meiosis occurs only in reproductive cells. During meiosis, diploid cell divides into two times, and this process happens twice, and finally there will be four haploid cells. We symbolize it just with one N. Two divisions are meiosis I and meiosis II. By meiosis, sperm and egg is produced. Thank you for your watching.